Hey everybody, welcome to RMI 270, the online version for spring 2022. I just wanted to give you a little overview of the class, and I thought this is probably the easiest way to do it because it's going to look awfully familiar in terms of how lectures are delivered. This is what they look like. I did most of them at my kitchen table. That was the easiest way to do that. Anyway, so if you click on the Canvas page, you should see something that looks a little bit like this. Doesn't look exactly like this because what I see is different from what you see. So item number one, as we're moving through the course, if you feel like, man, something should be here and I don't see it, you should reach out and ask, because that's probably the problem. One of the things that can happen is this right here. If I forget to click, not only do I have to actually link it and put it in there, you have to click a little button to make sure that it's published. And in fact, not just one, but two little buttons. And then if that doesn't happen, then you can't access that. But it looks to me like it's okay. In fact, right now, I don't believe you can see the syllabus because this little button isn't clicked, right? So anyway, I will take care of that. Now the welcome video would be, you're already clicked into that. That's how you got here. But I'm just pointing out, if something doesn't look right, you should email me because there's a good chance that it isn't, and it's because I don't see what you see. And I don't find out about that unless you let me know. So you're not bothering me. I need to know something like that happens. Best way to get a hold of me, always email. And I'll show you that in just a second. So what we're going to do real quick, the course, the way it works, every week there's going to be a module. So right now I don't have it set up yet, but week one is there'll be a module, and then there will be some lectures that you have to watch, and there will be an assignment that you have to do in most weeks. Maybe not all, but most weeks. Would have an assignment to do. So that's what you'd be looking for, and you'd want to make sure you can see all those things. Let's go ahead and go over the syllabus really quick here. Let me see if I can download that really quickly. There, super fast. Oh, look at that. Okay, no, it is spring 2022. Good, right version. Okay. Just wanted to show you a few things here. Let me see if I'm going to have to make this a little bit bigger so you can read it. Let's try that. Oh, it doesn't want to let me edit. Never mind. I wanted to go through this. You've seen this most likely. My office hours are 10 to 10:45. I have class at 11. So the hour before and the hour after that 11 o'clock class is what I'm using for office hours. I will be in the office if you want to see me on campus. That's a time I can guarantee I'll be there. If another time works better, contact me by email, and we can set up some other time if you want to meet face-to-face. If you're off campus, yeah, that doesn't work. We'll have to set up a phone call. And maybe it's just over the phone. Maybe it's a Zoom call if you got to show me something. Whatever, we'll figure it out. It's okay. Don't worry about bothering me. Again, this is my job. They pay me to do this. So if you need help, I want to help you. So please reach out by email and we'll set it up. We'll make it work. So this is an introductory course about risk management and insurance. Now, there's a difference between those two things. Risk management is a strategy and insurance is a tactic. Sometimes insurance works great as a way to manage risk. If I'm worried about my house burning down, insurance is a good way to handle that. If I'm worried about getting into a real bad car accident where I cause all kinds of property damage and bodily injury to other people, and it's my fault and I can't pay for it, that's another place where insurance makes perfect sense. But there's lots of situations involving risk where insurance doesn't work at all. And so we have to have some other techniques to handle risk, and we'll go over that. Really in chapter 3 is where we start to deal with that. So relatively shortly, we'll be talking about some of those ideas. But that's the basic idea, is that risk management is a strategy, insurance is a tactic. You can read through the objectives. The textbook, I recommend that you get the online rental version through the bookstore. It's okay if you get it through some other method, but I think that's the most cost-effective way. Last I checked, I think the online rental was about $80, and I think a physical copy of the 14th edition was about $250. I have a hard time asking people to pay that much money. I do think you'll do better in the course if you have access to a textbook. So before I get a bunch of questions, well, do I need the textbook? I think you'll do better. The people who have access to a textbook tend to do better. So that would be my advice there. And I would recommend getting it through the bookstore, through the online rental link. That's what I would do. If you want to do well in class, you're going to have to watch all the lectures. I expect that you watch all the lectures. And every semester, I've been teaching online for quite a while, there's always a small group that for some reason thinks they don't have to watch the lectures. And then we get to the exams and you can tell that they don't understand the questions. And that makes sense. I mean, if you haven't watched the lectures, yeah, you wouldn't understand the questions. Don't put yourself in the hole by doing that. Commit right now. If you're going to stay in this class, commit to watching lectures, all of them every week. If you do that, and then if you're taking notes while you're watching the lectures, I've got a review sheet that'll help you. If you take notes on that review sheet, you'll be really well prepared and efficiently prepared to take an exam, and you should do just fine. We have plenty of students who get A's in the online edition. It's not that it's harder. I do think it takes more discipline. I would have been a terrible online student as a college student. I know that about myself. So I'm a little sympathetic to that. It's hard to do, but it's key if you want to be to do well in this class. You have to watch the lectures. You have to do the assignments. And I hope that's not revolutionary. I hope that people would say, well, yeah, I would expect that. As far as exams, we'll have 4 exams during the course. The dates are coming up later on the syllabus. You can see that. We'll have some stuff that comes from the text, but all of it will come from the video lectures. So what I don't do is I don't specifically put things on the exam that are only in the text that we didn't talk about in the lectures. The other way, sometimes there's stuff that isn't in the textbook that came from the lectures. That I do. But I generally don't. That textbook, it's really good, but we don't have time to go into depth into everything. And you could lose yourself real quick by trying to focus too much on the text. So I would emphasize focus on the lectures. And then if you have confusing points to clear up, then go to the text. Then it makes sense. When I built this course, I used that textbook. So it should align pretty closely, and that should help. If there is extra credit, everybody will have opportunity to do that. We'll have activities and assignments. So we got 400 points coming from exams. We got 100 points coming from assignments. The assignments are designed so everybody should get 100 out of 100, or at least close to that. That's my hope for the assignments, because I know sometimes the exams can be a little difficult. So I'm trying to help you out here. I want people to do well. I really do. Here's the breakdown if you want a little bit more specificity on what those assignments look like. We'll have quizzes. Some of those quizzes are based on the lecture. Some of those quizzes are based on articles I'll have you read. Then I'll have an auto quote assignment where you use the internet to go out and get a quote on an automobile. And then we change some parameters and see what that does to the price. And I think overall, that's a really useful exercise. We do the same thing with life insurance. That's much later in the course. That's both auto and life quote are late in the course. I've got the grading scale right here, so I'm locked into this. So yeah, if you get 411 points through the semester, well, that's a B minus. And I know people say, well, gosh, I'm only 1 point away from a B. Yep. There isn't anything we can do about that. Once I publish a scale like this, I'm locked in here. So that's how that'll be. There probably will be some extra credit opportunities in there. So take advantage of those, and then you can say, well, at least I've done the best I can to avoid a situation where I'm only one or 2 points away from the next highest grade. We got 60 students in this class. There will be some that are 1 or 2 points away. That's math. There's nothing we can do about it. I'm trying to help you out to pass the class, to get a passing grade. I realize nobody's thrilled about a D minus, but you only have to get 251 of the 500 points. So 1 point over half gets you a passing grade, and that is not, in my view, an overwhelming expectation. If you watch all the lectures and you're prepared for you take good notes, you're prepared for the exams, that shouldn't be a difficult thing to accomplish. And the same thing with if you look at the percentages of the lower grades, you'll see there's some grace built in there too. Again, I've taught this class at least 60 times now, and online I've taught it at least 10. and probably more. So I'm used to this. This is kind of how I do it. I think I've got the wrinkles ironed out by now. As always, if you have any question, contact me. Let me know. If you have disability accommodations that need to be made or other special needs, I need to know about that. So the sooner the better. Please contact me. Please send me an email so that I can do what I'm supposed to do to help you out as much as I can. And then you can read the diversity statement. That should be showing up on all your syllabus that you have for every class. So then we just move on to a timeline. If I have to make a change, I might, but I will try to respect the exam dates. So I would rather change the material that's covered on an exam. Like maybe I have to cut that short. I would rather do that than change the exam due date. You'll have a window where you can take the exam, and it's usually going to be the full week. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue. I know we got people from all over the world in this class, so it just doesn't make sense to say you got to take it at noon Eastern. Well, that's great here. That's not so great if you're in South Korea. So we're going to stay away from specific hourly windows, and you should have days in which to take your exam, and that should work for everybody. May 6th, that's the last day of the final exam week. Our final exam is just our 4th unit exam. So it's not a comprehensive exam that goes back to units 1, 2, and 3. We'll just have our 4th unit exam as our final exam. And so that is the only date that I was not allowed flexibility on. But the rest, again, my plan is to stick to those. I don't plan on changing exam dates. So that's the syllabus. Wanted to show you, now you probably already saw this. Let me get back to the home page here. Okay, so I've already put up the slides. I would print those out. I've put up a review sheet. I would print that out. The review sheet does a good job of making sure you know what questions could be asked on the exam. And if you can answer all of those questions on there in your own words, then you'll be really well prepared for the exam. So how do you get to that point? Have it open and in front of you while you're watching the lectures. You have to do it that way. Don't watch the lectures and then come back and try to remember it. Then you're going to end up having to re-watch the lectures. So my advice, have that printed out ahead of time. Take your notes as you're going through. That'll minimize the amount of time that you have to prepare for the exams. I'm trying to help you out here. I think that's the best way to do it. And there isn't any shortcut to that. So you say, well, maybe I can find somebody who's been in this class before and I'll use their notes. That's not going to work. That they know the material, but you don't. It reminds me of the very first time I taught. I had a teacher friend say, oh, let me give you all my materials. I thought, oh, great, that's going to save me so much time. That didn't save me any time at all because she had it arranged the way she taught the class. And we'd get to a point in her materials where she said, oh, tell the story about this. Well, I don't know what that story is. So in the end, that didn't help me at all. I had to go through and do it for myself. It's the same thing when you're taking a course. There aren't any shortcuts. You have to learn it for yourself. Having said that, I don't really care how you learn it. I think the easiest way is to watch the lectures and to take notes off the review sheet, and then you'll be prepared. Otherwise, you won't be able to answer the questions. The questions aren't something that you can search the internet and get the answer for. You'll see that on our first exam. If you've studied the review sheet, you'll be ready. If you haven't, you won't. You'll struggle. And I'd rather prevent that up front by telling you, I think the way to spend the least amount of time and do as well as you can, print these two things out, have them with you while you're watching the lectures, and then you can pause. You can go back if you have to, and you can slow down and make notes. You'll be able to use those notes on the exam. But I think that's going to be the way to do the best that you can. If you've got some other way that works, hey, that's fine. Whatever works is what I want you to do. But that would be my suggestion if a person had no idea where to start. Okay, so right now you don't see week 1. You will very shortly, and I'll have that posted. My plan is to have next week's material always posted by the end of the day, Friday, so that you have that weekend to work on it. If in that particular week you're busy, that'll give you a little bit more flexibility. So we'll try to do that way. That's what I'm doing next. Until then, you'll see the material. I'm excited for the semester to start. And any question at all that you have, please reach out. This is what I do. So you're not bothering me. I like to hear from students. That's always a good thing. So yeah, looking forward to it, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot, you guys. We start real soon.